What is up, restaurateurs? I want to talk to you about Facebook ad targeting tips and tricks, who you should be targeting with your Facebook ads for your restaurant. Okay, we're going to dive in. I'm going to give you 3 top tips and a ninja trick at the end that many people don't tell you about or you may not know about. But first, I want to put 2 assumptions out there, or 2 things you have to know about Facebook ads. Number 1, it likes lots of people in an audience. Okay, what I mean by that is when you set your parameters of who is going to see the ad, it wants lots and lots of people. Why is that? Well, the more people you say, okay, Facebook, you can show this to, the more options it has to show it to people. So, for example, usually Facebook will tell you they want an audience of 1 million people or more. All right, that's what Facebook will tell you. Now, for most restaurants, that's not viable. The city you're in, maybe you're in a small town, or in the city around you, maybe we're talking about a couple 100,000 people. But if you start limiting things down where Facebook doesn't have a lot of options, it's not going to be able to show it to very many people, okay? So that's number 1. We want audiences with lots of people. Number 2 is Facebook ads are super smart. And what I mean by that is the longer you run an ad, the smarter it gets. It will start noticing who is paying attention to the ad, who is clicking, who is stopping to look. It'll even be able to tell who is kind of slowing down and kind of stops on it, even if they don't like. Because then what they'll do is they'll start showing it to more people like those people. All right. So the longer you let a Facebook ad run, the smarter it gets, the better it gets. So these are the top 2 assumptions. All right. So the 3 targeting tips plus my ninja trick. Number 1 for restaurants, it's all about the location. Okay. It's all about where. All right. And there's 2 ways you can do this. All right. You probably have done this where you, let's say that is on a map, that's you, and you can draw a radius circle around your restaurant, okay? And so typically, restaurants we work with, we say a 3 to 5 mile radius, all right? And so I like to get the audience as close to 200,000 people as possible, all right? So I want to have a good data set. So you could go in just a circle, okay? But sometimes it may not make sense to be a circle. For example, I have one restaurant that I work with where they really want to target a certain neighborhood that's to the south of them because their ideal customers are really, in an area to the south of their restaurant. So a second thing you could do is you can target zip codes. And so what you can do is you can type in the different zip codes. So zipmap, I think it's .net. Zipmap.net will show you all the zip codes in the country. And so what I will do is I will get in there and you can put in a zip code and it'll say, okay, we want this zip code, this one, right? And you can, I'm at 66061, 66062, and you can put in these zip codes. And so what we do is we say, okay, we want these zip codes, and Facebook knows when someone is in that zip code, okay, it'll show it to them. But people that are not in that zip code, it won't show it to. All right. So it is super smart. So that's number 1. Normally when people eat, they will stay in a 3 to 5 mile radius. Okay. That's just my experience. Unless you're a destination place where people would drive an hour to go there because you're a destination place for some reason. Okay. 3 to 5 miles is the first place to start. Number 2 is age. Okay. So really think about your ideal customer. I'm going to back up one step because I just remembered something. Back on this. Something that's really, really helpful is I have someone that works for Heartland Credit Card Processing, Mike Gates, who I'm going to give a shout out to. Their system, their credit card processor has a heat map. And what you can do is you can see where are the credit cards coming from. It shows you a heat map of all the zip codes. So you can go and you can look, okay, lots of credit cards are coming from this zip code, but we weren't running Facebook ads to them. So maybe you need to start running Facebook ads in that zip code. Or there's not very many coming from here, but we want more people coming from here. So you can run ads at that zip code. So if your credit card processor offers that, ask them, ask your rep. Can we see where these credit cards are coming from? Where people live and where they're coming from? It's really important data. It's a cool heat map. So, okay, back to this. Age. Your credit card processor can tell you this also. What's the age? What's your ideal customer? What's their age? And this depends on the different type of restaurant. Typically, what we do is, I think, who has money?
Sorry, I'm having trouble.
There's my my watch. Who has money? Who has money to spend? Normally, we do 25 to 65 plus. All right. Now, this totally depends on your restaurant. You can move this up or down a little bit. For example, for a restaurant that I work with where the average ticket is about $50, okay, we bump that up to 35 to 65, okay? I also have a restaurant that I work with that is an ice cream place. They're kind of like a Dairy Queen where they have ice cream and burgers. We go down to 18 to 65 because everybody loves ice cream, right? So this gives us an even bigger thing. But, you know, for most places, especially if you're a little bit higher end, let's say your average check is $25 to $30, I like to bump it up closer to 30 because I would rather have those people coming in. No offense to the 18-year-olds in the crowd, but I would rather get people with a little bit more money coming in right there. So that's why we do that. But think about age, okay? Interest, I get a lot about this. What should we do about interest? Because there are billions, well, not billions, there's tons of interest. You could say people that like restaurants, or you could say people that like barbecue. You could go on and on. Pizza. You could go on and on and on. What I found is, going back up here, Facebook likes to have lots and lots of options, and it gets super smart. So if you start running, if you really limit it down with a bunch of interests, if you shrink this down because you gave it a bunch of interests, it won't get as good of ads. So for restaurants, I go no interest. I don't do any interest at all. I do location, I do age, and that's it. No interest, because food's very accessible. Everybody loves to eat, right? I mean, food is, anybody can come in. But if you limit it down to this, that should give you a pretty good thing. And again, Facebook's going to get smart and it's going to start to know. Let's say you're an Indian restaurant, okay? Love Indian food. But if you're like, well, maybe I should only target people who like Indian food. No, keep it broad. Facebook will start figuring out who the ad is resonating with, and it'll start showing it to more people like that. So keep it wide open, keep it broad. Here's my ninja trick, okay? Now this can only be done in Ads Manager, Facebook Ads Manager. This is not done in boosting a post, it's done in Ads Manager. And this is, you can target people who have a birthday, okay? Coming up in the next week. You can also do anniversary. Okay, and so you can say, Facebook, I want to show an ad to someone who has a birthday or an anniversary coming up in the next week. And so, because when you signed up for Facebook, right, you have to tell it when your birthday is so they know. And we run this and people get so excited about birthday offers because they're like, wow, how'd you know it's my birthday? First of all, that kind of freaks them out. But number two, this gives a really good average check because when people have a birthday, what do? They bring in their whole family. They bring their family, they bring their kids, they bring everybody to come celebrate their birthday. It's not just a one-off thing at lunch. So we find this is a really, really good average check. So what you can do is you can set up in Facebook in Ads Manager, you can say, okay, I want people in this location, this age range, and has a birthday coming up. Now you're going to say, well, Court, that shrinks down the audience. Yes, it does. Usually the audience, it'll say about 2,000 to 4,000 people, but that audience changes every single week. So this week, there's going to be people with a birthday in the next week. Once we move on, there's going to be a whole new set of people. So we typically run this at about $3 a day. Okay, we run about $3 a day. That did not look like $3, and that's all we set it for. Okay, so again, Facebook gets smart and it starts learning. So keep a big audience. Don't limit down your audience to just people who like food. You don't know. it gets super smart as it goes. Keep it location based, whether you draw a radius or if you're like, we don't want these people in this part, then do zip codes. All right, do zip codes. Keep the age pretty open. 25 to 65 plus is a pretty good number, but if your restaurant caters to a younger crowd, you definitely could do that as well. Keep no interest. Keep the interest wide open. And then my ninja trick is target people with a birthday or anniversary in the next week. They will love, 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 love this. Give them an offer, a buy one, get one offer. Give them a $10 discount. Give them a free dessert on their birthday with an entree. Something special to get them in on your birthday club. So those are my quick tips. If you have tips about running Facebook ads and interest targeting for your restaurant, drop it in the comments below. Love to hear yours, or if you have questions, drop it below as well. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Get out there, get some sales, get butts in seats, and I will talk to y'all soon. Thanks.